The Governor-General of New Zealand is the viceregal representative of the monarch of New Zealand. Currently Queen Elizabeth II. As the Queen is concurrently the monarch of 15 other Commonwealth realms and lives in the United Kingdom, she, on the advice of her New Zealand Prime Minister, appoints a Governor-General to carry out her constitutional and ceremonial duties within the realm of New Zealand. The current office traces its origins to when the administration of New Zealand was placed under the colony of New South Wales in 1839 and its governor was given jurisdiction over New Zealand. However, New Zealand would become its own colony the next year with its own governor. The modern Governor-General and his or her functions came into being in 1917 and the office is currently mandated by letters patent issued in 1983. Constituting the Governor-General and Commander-in-Chief of the realm of New Zealand. Constitutional functions of the Governor-General include presiding over the Executive Council, appointing ministers and judges, granting royal assent to legislation, and summoning and dissolving Parliament. These functions are generally exercised only according to the advice of an elected government. The Governor-General also has an important ceremonial role, hosting events at Government House in Wellington, and travelling throughout New Zealand to open conferences, attend services and commemorations and generally provide encouragement to individuals and groups who are contributing to their communities. When travelling abroad, the Governor-General is seen as the representative of New Zealand. For this reason, the Governor-General is viewed by some as the de facto head of state. The Governor-General initially represented the British monarch and the British government. Therefore, many past office holders were British, including a succession of minor aristocrats from the 1890s onwards, in a gradual process, culminating with the adoption of the Statute of Westminster in 1947. The Governor-General has become the independent, personal representative of the New Zealand monarch. In 1972, Sir Dennis Blundell became the first New Zealand resident to be appointed to the office. Governors-General are typically appointed for a 5-year term of office, subject to a possible short extension, though they formally serve at the monarch's pleasure. The current Governor-General is Dame Patsy Reddy, who has served since the 28th of September 2016. Reddy will be succeeded by Dame Cindy Kirong in October 2021. Administrative support for the Governor-General is provided by the Department of the Prime Minister and Cabinet. The New Zealand monarch appoints the Governor-General by commission issued under the seal of New Zealand, known as the Terms of Appointment. Constitutional Convention adopted in 1930, following the Imperial Conference held that year, allowed for the appointment of the Governor-General to be made upon the advice of the New Zealand government, though that right was not exercised directly by a New Zealand Prime Minister until 1967. With the appointment of the first New Zealand-born Governor-General, Sir Arthur Porritt on the advice of Keith Holyoake. Today, the terms of appointment are countersigned by the New Zealand Prime Minister, to signify that the Prime Minister is responsible for advising the sovereign on the appointment. The Prime Minister's advice has sometimes been the result of a decision by Cabinet. There is no requirement for this, and there have been a few instances where the Governor-General was appointed with no consultation of Cabinet. Since 1980, the Department of the Prime Minister and Cabinet prepares a short list of candidates for the office. By convention, the Leader of the Opposition is consulted on the appointment. However, this has not always been the case. On only one occasion has the Prime Minister's choice of appointee aroused public anger or complaint, and that controversy was short-lived. In 1977, Sir Keith Holyoake, a former National Party Prime Minister and a serving Minister of State, was controversially appointed as Governor-General. The Leader of the Opposition, Bill Rowling, complained he had not been consulted by Prime Minister Robert Muldoon on the appointment of Holyoake, and openly suggested that he would have recommended Sir Edmund Hillary instead. It was suggested by many commentators that it would be inappropriate to entrust the office to a former party leader or anyone who is closely allied with a political party. However, despite his background, Holyoake could not be said to have discharged his duties in a partisan way. And he stayed in office for only 3 years. Since Holyoake's appointment, the Prime Minister now confides with the leader of the opposition during the nomination process. To avoid partisan controversy, beginning with the appointment of Sir David Beatty in 1980, lawyers and judges have predominated as Governors General. Following the introduction of MMP, it